The Labour Party faction, under the leadership of Alhaji Lamidi Apapa, has reacted to the verdict of the Presidential Election Petitions Court, which dismissed the suit filed against the election of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu by the party's candidate in the presidential poll of February 25, 2023. In a statement signed by the National Publicity Secretary of the faction group, Alhaji Lamidi, also known as Comrade Non-Controversial Gentleman, in reaction to the verdict on behalf of the party, blamed the legal team of the Labour Party's presidential candidate, Peter Obi, for not advising him properly. He said it is a shame that the legal team of Obi failed to advise him properly before going to the tribunal. He also stated that the party accepted the verdict of the appeal court without any bias, and that the whole process was a waste of time. Quoting the statement by Alhaji Lamidi, it says that Peter Obi has just gone on a wild goose chase, imaging the candidate that failed to fund the party in order to engage the number of required polling agents. Also, the filing of the witnesses outside the stipulated time has shown that the legal team is a failure. Some of us have been saying that Peter Obi decided to go to the tribunal to justify all the money he collected during the campaign. All that money was corruptly siphoned. It's unfortunate that Obi failed to convince the tribunal those polling units where he was rigged out. The tribunal also said that he made generic allegations of irregularities against the respondents without specifying the polling units. The petitioners allege irregularities and will use spreadsheets, inspection reports, and forensic analysis as evidence in the trial. The documents promised by the petitioners were not attached to the petition and served on the respondents. The justices ruled that Obi and the Labour Party did not adequately detail their allegations of corrupt practices, vote suppression, fictitious results, and other irregularities in their petition. Labour Party noted with all sense of purpose and in full agreement with the Presidential Tribunal that strikes out reports from the EU tendered by Peter Obi from its record for not meeting the clarification guidelines. Alhaji Lamidi further went on to say that the court said it rejected the reports on the grounds that it was not tendered by official of the body, which is the author and has custody of the document, and also that Peter Obi's lawyers were aware that the actual copy of the report was earlier in line with all extant law. That same report had earlier been tendered by Atiku Abubakar and the People's Democratic Party while prosecuting their petition before the tribunal. The tribunal also affirms that the Nigerian police, through its IGP, had written to the US to confirm the criminal status of Bola Tinubu, and the US government had replied in 2003 stating that Bola Tinubu had no criminal records in the US. Thus, our previous position has now been confirmed that Peter Obi was just all out to defraud our party of donations made towards 2023 general election, which was in a scary sum of $15 million and 12 billion naira that Peter Obi deliberately used for Cure Abure poverty lineage and help other Julius Abure IPOB irresponsible, ethnic, irredeemable, irredentist supporters in order to have a lifeline. Our party is also in tandem with the tribunal that the claim by the Labour Party concerning the blood 18,088 result sheets is totally unfounded, as the party ought to have agents at every polling unit who will have a copy of the result sheet. But here, Peter Obi fraudulently converted all monies due to our agents across the country, and they all refused to represent the party at all polling units. On Peter Obi's request that 25% FCT vote is a requirement before a president can be declared, we noted that this is a shame on the part of Peter Obi legal teams to be told in clear terms that Abuja is equal to every other state in Nigeria, since according to the tribunal, residents of Abuja don't have special privileges. Every Nigerian is equal. Finally, Alhaji Lamidi stated that in the Hall of Fame of Absurdities, the prayers presented by the tribunal by Peter Obi and the restrained former national chairman Julius Abure, should be framed for entertainment of future students of law. How does anyone claim to have won an election based solely on pejoratives, assumption, vague rhetorics, and zero evidence pointing to such being the case, but on the expectation that the actual winner would be disqualified, and by some stroke of black magic, the candidate in the third place will suddenly be declared winner without any proof of having scored the majority vote is absolute rascality on display by Peter Obi and Julius Abure. As a law-abiding party, we accept the verdict and we are going back to the drawing board to know where we have gone wrong. End of quote. Meanwhile, Obi, the Labour Party candidate who filed the petition against the APC and Nigeria's President Bola Tinubu in reaction to the verdict by the appeal court, has vowed to appeal the judgment of the Presidential Election Petitions Court, which dismissed his petition and upheld the election of President Tinubu. Recall that the Presidential Election Petitions Court in Abuja dismissed the petition of Obi and the Labour Party on all grounds. Speaking through his team of lawyers, led by a senior advocate of Nigeria, Dr. Levi Uzoroku, the former two-term Anambra State governor said, "If we are not careful, our electoral jurisprudence will eventually disappear." Quoting Obi, he stated, "I am saying this with every amount of sincerity because when those that contested election continue to find it very difficult to establish their case due to obstacles on the way, starting by INEC, the Independent National Electoral Commission, certainly they may resort to some other means of trying to get justice, which may not be lawful. Also, I commend the Court of Appeal for introducing live streaming." You may recall that we applied to the court to have live streaming of all the proceedings. The court, in its wisdom, did not grant the application, but now, in the end, they saw wisdom in it and the need to guarantee transparency, hence live streaming of the judgment. Certainly, it would have been better if it was live streaming of the entire proceedings so that the public will have the chance of watching and be able to relate properly with the judgment. So, I will hope and pray that this time it will be continuous, starting from the beginning of the case. That is the only way that you can guarantee transparency, because when something is open, Nigerians will see things for themselves and they will make up their minds one way or the other. End of quote. Subscribe to this channel, Newspop NG, to always get updates on news, entertainment, and sports. I am Blessing Ezija. Thank you for watching.